kept kissing me, 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 kept kissing me.
Thank you, snowboarding.
Hey friends, how you doing? My name is Chris Cracknell. You are listening to Thank You Snowboarding, the podcast covering all aspects of UK snowboarding culture from the early days of people hand-making boards and riding the downs and the dales and anywhere else that would contain snow to the current crop of UK shredders that are doing it worldwide. I saw that Mia Langridge had a nice feature in the New Reason magazine, which I picked up last week, and you can pick up too from any decent magazine stockist, W.H. Smith's or whatever the hell that's called now. Or go and see the folks at the Snowboard Asylum, who also look after us here. So there's a reason to pop into the Snowboard Asylum, even if it's just to pick up a copy of the Reason magazine and get stoked out for the winter. Okay, well, this week's episode is with someone who I met for the first time when he came over with Jonny Weeks, and you will have heard him in the background in Jonny Weeks' interview from episode 1 of this season. And I was really interested to get him on because he started the first snowboard-specific chalet, which certainly inspired me to start Chill Chalet when we did. But he had been in the game already 10 years before we even thought about starting. And so that was one of the things we covered, was what possesses someone to create a new market for something when it wasn't a thing before. And Chalet Snowboard went on to have a real major success, I would say. And so I was interested to find out also why he stopped doing that, because obviously we stopped doing Chill Chalet. I wanted to find out if there were any similarities there, and to find out about if he's still snowboarding, and it turns out he is. I am, of course, talking about UK legend Ian Trotter, who was also a big advocate of riding hard boots and race boards. And for you younger listeners out there, you may never have even seen an alpine carving board. But this guy is and was a massive advocate of hard boots and certainly knew how to turn on it. There'll be some photos up on the Instagram of him charging on a race board, and you won't see power and aggression like that many places on a snowboard except in hard boots, even though it is a rare sighting these days. So anyway, Jonny Weeks is also in on this interview because we recorded it on the same day a few weeks ago on a Saturday afternoon in my studio down here in Hove. And a real pleasure. I hadn't met Ian before, but he felt immediately like an old friend. I think we have a lot of common ground. And so this was a real pleasure, and I hope you enjoy this too. Here we go, Ian Trotter.
Good. Yeah, right. Yeah.
He's chilling out now. He's going to be all...
Yeah, look at him, fucking just going to sit on his phone and not engage with it
Yeah,
at all.
look at him.
Tight bastard.
I'm spent.
I've talked about myself enough.
You are not remotely interesting. I'm not remotely interested.
Nothing else to give now.
Do you know who I am? Who I was?
I'm spent. Now I'm here. I'm all ears. I was trying to find the picture of my air pendant, but I'll send it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, send me that when you get a chance.
Yeah, that was nice.
So this is actually, is this the first? I think this is the first time we've ever met.
It is. Yeah, it is.
Can't believe that.
It feels quite easy though.
It's funny. It's, you know what? I think it's just, well, Instagram adds a sort of familiarity, you know, and hearing your voice all the time.
It's good, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And, you know,
I mean,
obviously, you're all over
the,
Insta, aren't you? You're all over
It's like
Insta.
it's a nice, really, it's a nice,
As the
comfortable voice.
as the visuals. the visuals match the voice. Am I just a big
I did
disappointment?
remember you did one. I think you did one last year. It's just before Christmas,
Right.
and you did have a
Was it Christmas themed?
big old Father Christmas beard at the time. I think
Yeah.
Sleigh bells? No.
No.
it was snowing. It was
Oh,
snowing.
yeah.
It snowed at some point.
It snowed
last year,
about
briefly,
a millimetre
didn't it?
down here.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
And you walked out because it was snowing.
Well, that's...
I had my new dry robe on.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Did you? I didn't.
What, in
I
snow?
didn't pay attention to
Well,
that.
it was snowing. Yeah, I was walking down the path.
I guess you use it for the real purpose of getting changed on the beach.
I do use it for the real purpose of
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
changed on the beach.
Yeah. Not just wanking around town.
No.
Yeah.
No, that would.
I think I wear it exclusively for getting changed on the
Well,
beach.
that's what you believe they were designed for.
Yeah.
Not these people who just.
Well, they're too hot otherwise.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If you go
Modesty
if you go
for
to town
beach.
wearing one, then
Yeah.
they're just too hot.
Just
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
Right,
Right.
let's
Look a bit. Yeah.
enough of it.
I'm gonna face away from you, Johnny. Otherwise, I'm just gonna end up talking to you
Yeah,
about
you've
fucking
got
dry
these.
roads.
And another thing.
Yeah, just one more. In fact, can we do a part 2 on my interview, please? I don't think I've talked about myself enough.
Honestly.
So yeah, it's quite mad. This is the first.
Yeah, I think we just didn't overlap, did we? Really? 'Cause
No.
we stopped running we stopped actually physically running the chalet first of all 96 and then sold it in 2004. So
you
Finished in '96.
yeah, we moved back then.
So you were
We
still
did
running it
same sort of thing
remotely?
that you did.
Remotely?
Yeah, ran it remotely, and then we went back out again for the last couple of years.
Okay.
Yeah, so 2004 we sold up. and
So
came back.
why did you? I mean, I'm guessing it's probably for similar reasons why you stopped running it in person and then sold up. Tell me about that.
Yeah,
first.
why did we stop running it? Well, stop running it in person, moved back. I think because we got to the stage we actually wanted to come back to the UK in the summer because that's what we were doing, and have our house to live in.
Right.
And you ain't going to do that on, snowboard income. So we came back in '96, and Jill got a proper job in London, and that paid for the mortgage.
Nice.
Straight away. The days when you could just get a job and 3 times your salary, buy a house. So we did that, actually. And it felt about right. We'd run the chalet for quite a bit and it felt like a bit of a break. But
Is it because the chalet is quite a big? It always felt like a gamble. It was like if you have like a hotel in the UK, kind of people know what to expect. But when you have a
Yeah.
chalet in the Alps, like a shit snow season, it's going to have a lasting impression. Like might have a lasting impression
yeah,
on
yeah.
your guest numbers and things. And it always felt like it's like well, this is quite a gamble of an income. Do you know what I mean?
it was totally. I mean, we had obviously our friends who ran ski chalets out there. You talk to them sort of at the end of the season and say, how's it looking for next year? And they say, well, we've got a few weeks at Easter to book up. And we'd be like, you haven't got anything because the boarders we found they would be waiting to see what the snow was like.
Yeah.
So you got
Pretty
last minute
much.
bookings, more like.
So ours would come in much later. So it always felt like a little bit of jeopardy. Didn't get into the season. You've hired the chalet. You've done the
I haven't got that many
brochures,
bookings in the bag.
and you wait and see. So that was a
Yeah.
bit of a
That's gotta be
stress.
difficult.
And
No, I can relate
it
to
was
that.
stress. There were times in November it could be really stressy, and then it always seemed to work out.
There's a lot of
and you kind of get used to that.
that are outside of your control.
Yeah, and
essentially.
the skiers, it didn't really seem to matter, but boarders, they do want the snow, don't they? They do want the powder if you can get it.
Yeah,
So,
100%.
Or our guys did.
And I'm guessing sort of back then there was a flood of like cheap apartment holidays, cheap.
Yeah.
There was a
lot of stuff.
and a lot of people coming into snowboarding seemed to come from a less affluent background than skiers were.
Yes, well, it's like the ski club Grobian said, isn't it?
Well, did they? Tell me about that.
Poor, long-haired, under 25, poor people who are dangerous, isn't it? I mean, it was that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And there was that. It was a large part of that element, but that wasn't what we were aiming at all, actually. And so that was always quite part of the, with the press releases and things like that. We're trying to get over that. Actually, yes, there is that element, and it's great because it adds that bit of sort of frisson with the skiers, and there's a little bit of anti this and anti that, and that's quite nice actually. But we weren't catering for that. We were catering for what we would consider pretty much regular people with decent jobs who are not under 25 and they're not poor.
Yeah.
And they want to go somewhere quite nice. So we were kind of, in a way, it was sort of trying to paddle against the flow of all the press of snowboarding at the time, especially in the early 90s.
Yeah, I mean, how did you go about, or like who had the kernel of the idea to do that? Because as you say, like it's a young sport, it's mostly young people doing it. Like,
yes,
where would your head at in terms of thinking about like, yeah, let's start a chalet company for not the typical person who's doing this thing?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, Jill did did a season working in a chalet. I mean, we'd been, by that time, we'd done 4 or 5 seasons. Sort of, Jill worked in the chalet, then bar.
What did you do? Were you ski teching?
I was ski teching. Yeah. Well, kitchen porter first.
Oh, glamorous.
And then ski teching
AP.
for 2 seasons, which was just what a doddle that was.
Where was this?
Well, the first season was Chevalier. And actually, I wonder if it's about same time you were there. I went to Chevalier 87, 88.
That would have been, it was that year. Yeah.
So,
no, it was 88, 89 season, sorry. 88,
yeah, okay. But I didn't know anything about, I mean, I wasn't from a skiing background at all, or any snow. Never went skiing apart from.
Same year,
before
though.
that.
So 87, 88
Yeah.
when I was in Boston.
And it just happened I went to Seychelles. And that first season working in the kitchens.
Is that in the chalet kitchen?
It's a hotel. It was like a
Oof.
250. It was a
mate.
schools abroad hotel.
I was
School
Oh,
based.
man.
Yeah, 250 people. I mean, big staff and that. And so we went there, did that, and then 2 seasons teching for the same company in Des Alpes, which I think is where I met Martin the first time. And Jill was working in Des Alpes, so that's where we met. And then that second teching season, I left early, and we came back. Jill and I came back, and I went to the British Champs in Alec Moore.
Yes.
In 90. So that was 1990.
What made you go to do a season to start with?
Because I hadn't done, I'll say, never did any skiing.
You never did skiing. And you
when
didn't
I was
know
at
about
college-
snowboarding as such, did you?
No, when I was at college, I mean, I was going to leave college and probably join up. And then the girlfriend at the time got a job working in Val d'Isère in a chalet. So I got off cheap freebie week at the beginning of January. I mean, never skied, didn't have a clue about it, actually. Went out and loved it.
Right.
Absolutely
Skiing?
loved it. Yeah, the skiing.
Can you remember your first memory of seeing the mountains? Because I've got, I remember exactly my first time seeing the mountains. I'm wondering.
No, not that season, but I did the second season. So that year in that week in Val d'Isère, I love to ski. Everything else about the holiday was a disaster, but the skiing was amazing, and the weather was pretty crappy as well, actually. So I don't think I noticed
Right.
the mountains. I think it was pretty much cloud.
I've had a similar
Or
experience in
dark.
Chamonix. I've only been in Chamonix once, and the weather was in the whole time, so I don't actually know what it looks like.
No.
I rode some brilliant snow, but I don't know what it looks like.
No, but the second year when I, having loved skiing, then I thought, well, I'm going to get good at skiing. And the only way to do that is start doing seasons.
Yeah.
So, and the company I worked for that summer, also, that was Outdoor Pursuits, sort of instructing stuff. And they also ran hotels in France for schools abroad in the winter.
Okay.
So I just got in touch with them and said, look, any jobs? And they said yes. So I went and interviewed and then got a kitchen porter job, top job for the first season. And it was in Seychelles Valley. And I can remember turning up there. Yeah, we went out of the coach, get out, nice weather, and the mountains are just there. And that was, and it was cold and crisp and
All the good stuff.
there's
Where did you
something
grow up?
magical about that. In Wantage,
Oxfordshire.
So a long way from water or snow.
Mm-hmm.
It was never not just I didn't know anyone that skied.
Yeah.
Or had been skiing,
It's just, that seems like quite a random,
Yeah.
a kind of fortuitous random.
I know. It's just because I loved that 1 week and just thought, I'm going to get good at that. And the other thing, I wanted to get good at windsurfing, which I had never done, actually. But it looked cool. And
Did it look cool?
Never did that. Well, in the 80s,
I always
all
thought
that stuff looked good.
windsurfing looked like a lot of work.
Oh God, yeah, I never did it, and actually,
Right.
I still think that now, exactly the same. And we talk about it at home all the time because Hamish, my son, he's madly into surfing,
Right.
and we talk about this kite surfing. No way, wires and kite, you got to pump it up. Too much kit, way too much kit, and it's actually true of windsurfing that things break. You got to put the fin in. So I never did it. I just skiing.
Like the look of it.
Yeah. Well, it was the 80s, and they.
Well, I mean, it was
neon.
all hot colours and
It was hot colours.
graphic design all over the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what's not to like?
So,
What's
but
not
I'd
to
never
like,
seen.
exactly.
Yeah. So didn't know anything about skiing, but I decided to get good at that. So you have to do a season to get good at it. When
And
you're
describe
22.
what that season was like, because obviously I did my first season in 93, 94,
Yeah.
and snowboarding was a sort of happening by then.
Yeah.
So there was crews on the mountain, and you'd meet another snowboarder and you'd become friends because there was that many people around. But kind of I'm trying to sort of, it feels like before that, certainly like a few years before that would have, that was when sort of skiing in its day glow heyday and
Yeah.
mullets and all the sort of Greg
Yeah.
Stump type
Yes.
ski movies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
Wizard of Oz.
did that reflect what it looked like? Yeah, Wizard of Oz. I mean, that's the best.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Yeah.
did it look like that in Serre Chevalier, for instance?
Don't know, because I can't remember from that first week. I can't remember actually really looking at skiers as such. I just loved actually doing it, and so I didn't know snowboarding existed when I arrived in Serre.
But I mean, just the skiing, like what did that look like?
It was just, I don't know, what did it look like? It was just
Pretty structured then, wasn't
what
it?
they did. It was all
right.
quite,
It was,
samey same, wasn't it?
I mean,
Everyone did the same.
At one point,
It hadn't changed in years, had it? I don't think.
I mean, at one point when the freestyle in the 70s and the freestyle skiing,
The hot dogging.
hot dogging, yeah, it was something.
Ski
That was
ballet.
Ski ballet,
Ski
hell yeah,
ballet.
the long poles, man.
And they were
Guilty as
doing-
charged.
They were doing. It was, I mean,
Don't tell me you had to go at ski ballet.
I did, yeah.
Johnny.
Tip rolls.
Johnny.
Oh my god!
Short skis.
Didn't see
Yeah.
any of that. Actually, you
Bump
do see
skiing,
that.
obviously.
I mean, you do see
Yeah, well.
occasionally a few people doing that. Even then, you'd see a few people and you'd be like, just coming down the slope. And you go like...
It was a thing.
But
It
look
was
up
like
there.
new.
Look
It
at
was
all that stuff.
the new shit that was happening,
And they were doing
you know,
bumps, weren't they?
doing bumps, and obviously the freestyle thing. I've seen them doing aerials, which then became a bit of a, they practice into water and stuff like that. It kind of became a bit silly, but
Yeah.
the bump
But I
skiing,
think
skiing was probably the best part of it.
to
But I mean,
most
obviously snowboarding brought in like a youth culture to the mountains. Was there like a youth culture present?
Not that I ever saw. I think all you thought about skiing was it was racing and
It was
the
just
Olympics,
racing.
wasn't
It was. I mean, it was like really
That's all it
structured
was.
into like
Right.
about racing, and there was no.
Yeah.
Obviously, the ski industry has taken that bit of the snowboard. The thing that attracted people to snowboarding. The deeper side cut. Obviously, skis got shorter.
Yeah.
People start riding. In half pipes in parks. Everything that's transitioned across into skiing. So, yeah, I mean, but back in the day, well, in like the end of the 80s, talking about hot dogging and stuff, that didn't really ever take off properly in Europe. It was an American thing, But it was obviously it was very structured, like ski schools, racing. There wasn't really anything. There was, I mean, Glenn Plake and those guys. They were like that was a. But nobody really ever was really trying to emulate them.
No.
It was like,
Right.
No, so you just went to do it. We just did it. And we got the crappy skis from the hotel store and
Once you fixed.
went up there, really. But it was bloody ace, but you didn't know any better,
Yeah.
actually. So that was good. And then, and then I saw snowboards and it was like, well.
And were your because obviously you were a big hard boot kind of guy.
I was then, yeah.
Was your first experience with hard boots? And
No, desert boots. I had my desert boots the first time.
tell me about your first
That didn't
experience on a
work
snowboard. Where did you see it? Where did you see it first?
Because in Serre Chevalier there was this little group of, I don't know, I think there were about 4 of them, and they were the Oxbow boys, and they had one-piece Oxbow
Every
suits.
resort had them.
Yeah, and they're sort of mauve or turquoise, whatever it might be.
Fantastic.
But they were good. They were really good, actually. I think there was the Moranval brothers and a few others, and it was like when you saw them, they'd come down and you'd be like, wow. I mean, how good do they look? And then they do a few jumps and a few basic sort of tricks and that. But then you'd see them off-piste.
Ripping it
And
up.
it was like watching Reggie throw land for real life. Those amazing, big, beautiful turns on the powder. And then you go up and you go, well, we got to do that.
Get myself some of that.
And it wasn't until after Christmas and that, because that was all quite busy. And then I think in mid-January, all the hotel staff, we just said, we got to go and do that.
Right.
I mean, there was like 20 of us. And it was like, great, well, we can ski, so let's just get some boards and head up there. Brilliant. And, but, you had to scour the resort to get that many boards.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, who had the board? Like, who
Well,
had that many?
the tech guys went down there, and they just went down all the 3 resorts in Seychelles and probably Briançon as well.
We're right out
just to get enough
the
stuff.
two boards we have are out.
So, so I ended up with this board that had soft bindings, which was really, back in 87, 88, they were really crap.
Yeah.
But no boots. So it was like, well, I don't need boots, can't afford them anyway. So I rent them. So I just use my desert boots because, brown suede boots. I put 2 pairs of socks on, keep myself.
That made a difference.
And no surprise, it didn't really work very well.
Yeah.
But also, because we didn't have a clue, nobody had any idea about it, didn't ask anyone about it.
No.
We were like, where we were in the resort was from the hotel, you could either walk across to the eggs, which went up to a point, and then from there, you then got a drag lift up a short way, just 200 or 300 meters, which is a bit of a green run. And we were like, oh, it's only 200 or 300 meters of green run. We're not going to bother doing that, are we? So we went down to the telecabine, which was further down. You could get straight down the hill to that. That went up, and then it went to a chairlift. And we realised a drag lift probably might be a bit tricky. So we go to that, and then that chairlift went further up the mountain, a lot further up the mountain. And at the top of that was a green run or a black run. So we thought, well, obviously we're not going to do the black run, so we'll do the green run. It's just a lovely little piste track that zigzags down through the bumps run onto a nice wide green piste. We'll just do that. It's only 300 metres of piste track when you've never done it before. And of course, nobody could get anywhere. I mean, it was an utter disaster. One guy lost his board straight off the mountain. Never
Got,
found
dropped
again.
it and
Just
fucked up.
Yeah.
Ghost Rider.
That hurtled like a missile, and he trashed his ankle, so he didn't ski again. He had to get a mono ski for the whole season.
Oh man, as if that trash in your ankles was bad enough. If someone gives you a mono ski.
That's all he could do because he couldn't put any weight on it. And then everyone else basically walked down. So at the end of that day, there were just 3 of us left that were still trying to do it out of 20. Everyone just literally walked down the hill.
Yeah.
And it was quite a long way down. And we kept going and battling, and it drove me mad. I mean, I hated it. And when I got off the mountain, I said, I'm never doing
Stamp
that.
your desert boots.
Never doing that again. My hands, I mean, I was trying to sort out the potato rumbler that night at work. And you get the potatoes, you pour the potatoes in, don't you?
Yeah.
Set it going.
I know about potato
And then I'm
rumblers.
trying to lift the potato bag without using your fingers, just trying to use your knuckles.
Why? Because you got your hands are
fingers
ruined.
knackered. So
So what? Because you didn't have gloves on?
No, just because of
Oh,
constantly falling on my hands
yeah.
all the time. I mean, awful. So we said, right, that's it. But then, within 2 weeks, the 3 of us
Mono skiing for me.
Yeah, that's it.
And I did. I love skiing. That was a great time skiing. But the 3 of us who'd cracked on, there was Pete, who was he was the ski tech guy, obviously called Pete-X. And the other ski tech guy, who was Nick, who was this 16-year-old kid who was with the English ski team. He was out there to ski
Yeah.
Part of his sort of training. Both his knees were completely shot at 16. Both big knee braces. He could point his both feet backwards.
Really?
I mean, he was going to be knackered. But anyway, he was out there. So the three of us, within 2 weeks, we were like, you know what? We've got to try that again. So I got a board that didn't require me wearing Desi boots. It had plate bindings. And it meant I could use my ski boots, which were the old 4-clip Lang ones.
Yeah.
Not the yellow perils, but the one down from that, the black ones. Still quite stiff.
Did you undo any of the clips or did you just...
No, I didn't think of that. And so the three of us went up, and one of them was a winter stick. I think Nick had the winter stick. I can't remember what Pete had. And I had this thing called the Arana, which was sort of like a homemade board, I think. It was a 165, big pointy tail, flat, big pointy nose, flat tail, no side cut, nothing. And we just, we went up and we just crashed our way down, and eventually, and we thought, well, that's not so bad. So we waited another week, I had a board, and then we were just doing that, hiring a board. And at the beginning of March, when I'd saved up a bit of money, I'd always intended to get skis. And I was just like, no, it's a board for me.
What was your first purchase?
Hot 160.
Yes, that was the first board I ever went on as well.
What a beauty. I bet that was still, not on piste maybe, but off piste, that would still be an amazing board. So the Hot 160 with plate bindings, the Emery plate bindings.
Yeah.
That was the first board. And so the next season, and then obviously at the end of that season, well, if I want to be good at snowboarding, I've got to do another season.
Obviously.
So, it makes complete sense, doesn't it? So that summer I just did a bit of temp work or something like that. And then went back with schools
in
abroad.
Wantage.
Yeah, I think just, temping in a warehouse or something like that. Because that's what it became in the end, wasn't it? Just getting through the summer.
Get through the summer.
Yeah.
And then went back to Duthout, ski teching on the Hot 160, and then I upgraded to Hot Revolution.
Yeah.
Which was a bit more of a alpine board. Still with the Emerys.
Heading in that direction.
And did the teching, loved that. So I thought, actually, this is quite good. I'm getting better. I'd better do another season.
Were you
and then went back to Duthout.
Did you feel why was your weren't interested in the soft boot binding sort of thing?
I didn't really see
your
it.
desert boot kind of experience turned you on?
Maybe that could have been it. But I didn't have any skateboard background. I hadn't done any skating as a youngster or BMX. Nobody, we just didn't do that in the country. No, we just didn't do it. So I didn't have any.
Shout out to all our country listeners. Sorry about that.
Sorry about that stereotypical.
Actually, I'm sure. I did try, when I was like 11, which was in the mid 70s, wasn't it? Getting a plank of wood and 2 halves of roller skates, and that didn't work very well either. So that put me off, I think. But Fair enough. So no air, no freestyle at all. So it was just, I had my hard boots, so I just put those on.
Yeah.
And then
you were still using ski boots then?
Yeah.
I guess you didn't. When was your first?
Actually, it was the second season to out. I got those Reichleys, with the interchangeable pink and green tongue.
Yeah,
they were
badass. They were like Damien Sanders.
Yeah, they were
sort of. He had those horrible ones with Gator that was built in.
Oh no, they were Koflex, weren't they?
The pink ones. They were so much better because they had that sort of walking boot sole.
They did. They were a.
You got the lateral flex.
Ski mountaineering boot that was adapted.
That was a big difference. That was 80.
For the geeks out there.
Yeah, fucking check you out.
For the geeks out there.
Check you out with your hard boot knowledge.
I know, don't get me started now.
Those Reichly ski boots. Jill had the Reichly ski boots.
Flex on comps.
And they were great as well, actually, weren't they?
I had yellow and black ones.
Yeah, Jill had the yellow and black ones. Nice looking. But, so that was the 89. That was going into the 89-90 season. I got those Reichleys and a Hot Logical.
And at that point, were you aware of other people kind of snowboarding, other scenes? Were you sort of going? Did you go to any other resorts and see people doing it, or
no? I mean, it was just when you were in the resort, that was your resort, really.
Yeah,
wasn't it? And
but like, when did Snowboard UK come out? Like, when did you become aware of a wider scene?
There was me that season. There were the three of us in Seychelles, and then the following season in that first season does out though was me. I mean, I was the only Brit that I knew of that did it. And, you know, when you saw another boarder, it was that classic thing, wasn't it? You saw another boarder on the hill and you'd say hello. You know, you'd give a, you know, not necessarily a thumbs up because they'd be French, but, you know, you'd acknowledge them and say hi.
Did you know Adam from the season?
That was the second season. Yeah. Adam Barnes. He was the night watchman the second season. Adam, he's a top boy. And he became Vans, didn't he? I think he became selling Vans.
Did he?
So I didn't know anyone really, and everyone in the resort, all the Brits were all skiers, and it was that classic thing. You know, why are you doing that?
Were they giving you shit?
Not shit. No, they were just sort of, what do you do? You know, it won't catch on. It literally won't catch on. But I wasn't aware of that whole the skier snowboarder thing because there were so few skiers, so few boarders actually. And that second season, there was just me and the other tech, Steve Green. We were both on boards.
Yeah.
He had a little K2 gyrator.
Gyrator.
But he was on hard boots as well. Skated, gyrator with hard boots. And I think that season...
Imagine turning one of those.
That's a horrible look.
And then he got a logical as well. He got the hot logical. Yeah, so the ASIM hot logical. And that was, I mean, when you're on hard boots, getting that asymmetric was a total... a shift, you know, it was just so good. Really, really good. And I think that season I must have met Martin at some point.
Well, yeah, because of your white hair, and white rabbit, white hair, no white hair.
Well, that was in Seychelles, wasn't it? Because somehow I found out about the British champs going on back in Alnwick.
Yeah, so you showed me a picture of you, and I'll post it on the Instagram around the time that your episode comes out, of you doing like a sort of powdery carve.
Yeah, Aviemore.
As well, you're saying whilst like so at some point you did become aware of other things going on. So who did you sort of find out?
I think I actually can only imagine it was at some point talking to Martin. I don't know really how I found out there was a British champs in Alnwick at the end of the season. So Jill and I'd met Jill. She was working in the bar in Dazal. And she was starting to board as well because I met her at the beginning of that season when she was having a lesson on a board. So we were boarding together that season actually. Jill's from Musselburgh, so we left early.
Jill's from where, sorry?
Musselburgh, near Edinburgh.
Scotland.
So it was quite handy. So we drove back and met my folks, went up to meet Jill's folks and her brothers. And then I think the next day or the day after, drove up to Alnwick. I'd never been to Scotland before. I actually went to Musselburgh that first time. So driving through Glencoe at like 7 a.m. and it was a blue sky day to Alnwick that's an introduction to the Highlands. That's an amazing road on an amazing day. In my little XR2 and
check him out.
Sweet ride, dude.
I couldn't afford the alloy wheels.
Fucking threw that casually in there, didn't it?
Maybe he's a skier. And hard boots. An XR2 and hard boots. Oh, dude.
What colour?
Black. Well, black. Yeah, no, luminous. No, it's black. And then turned up to Fort William, and then went up to Alnwick. Didn't know anyone at all, and that's when I met everyone, all the Scottish crew anyway, and Jonny. I can't remember an awful lot about that weekend, actually. Apart from competing in some form, I did remember I ripped the bindings out the board and had to drill those back through because they just used to.
And then and Tony gave you Kemper then.
The only other thing I can remember about that. The bindings ripping out, going through Glencoe, and Tony Brown straight lining some run on a M8 Burton.
Yeah.
Until he just ragdolled down the whole thing. That's all I can remember about that. But but then I met up with, you and Darren and William and Darren Williamson and Stuart and Webster and Jeremy.
Yeah, so how did that feel, sort of coming across a whole tribe of people doing the thing that you like doing?
It just seemed, I don't know, I just went into it, really.
Did it feel quite open? I remember my first time coming into contact with people. Me and my mate drove down to a dry slope in Wales, Henbury.
Right.
There was a comp on. We
Yeah.
thought, we'll pull up. And I don't know if it was me, but it sort of felt like it was a bit cliquey at that.
Was
by
that
that
Jeff
point.
Barr organising that? No.
Yeah, it must have been.
Yeah.
Something.
No,
But I just remember thinking, like,
So the first time.
it's not all as friendly as I thought it would be.
First time. So
no, actually, I didn't know it was just straight in. I think everyone was just kind of,
I think it was.
especially it was in Scotland, and the Scottish crew were on it.
I've got
weren't
a
they?
different story.
You know.
I've got a different story about the Scottish crew. So the first time I met, I didn't know it was actually with Stuart, Adrian, Cammy, maybe it was Norgado, and maybe Webster was there as well. I'm not sure, but I went up to. So this is before I went and did my first season. So, leading up to going to do that first season, and so I already bought that Sims board from the States. And I went up to the Glasgow ski show with Darren, which was a consumer ski show, like a Daily Mail. And Rodney George, who was the Sims distributor in the UK at that time, had a stand there, and all those guys were doing like some sort of demo. But we didn't know who they were, and we sort of like, they were on this Sim stand, and we didn't know who they were. But me and Darren walked away from there going, right up themselves, aren't they?
Right. Yeah, no.
They think they are. So they don't even know who the fuck we are. They weren't even that good, were they? And then anyway, now they are actually fine, and then we all became very good friends.
Yeah,
about a year later. But yeah.
No, it wasn't. No, I don't remember any of that actually. But then I don't remember a lot about it. Full stop. So, but no, it just seemed good actually. And then finished up that season. And then was that the season? When did I get on Kemper with Tony?
So when was he obviously he opened the snowboard asylum?
Yeah, because he was starting up the
Snowboard Academy.
Academy,
Wasn't
rather,
he?
not asylum. Academy.
Yeah, because then I stayed up in Scotland. Up in Scotland that summer because I do remember I was working at the King James Hotel in the kitchens there. They did haggis nights every night. Every night of the week was a haggis night. Burns night rather, and eating haggis. And there was one night when it was just like, Ian, there's someone outside that says they know you. And I walked out and there's Webster was there, and I don't know who else. Just like, all right, Ian, come down for the summer. And so they were, it was welcoming. It was good. It was a good crew. Maybe because Joel's Scottish, it helped. I don't know.
Yeah.
But no, not really.
Instant passing.
But it was good.
It was.
It was good,
So
actually.
welcomed.
Yeah.
Crazy old days.
And then it was the next season was Aviemore, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that's when after the event, they had that brilliant day afterwards, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. So, because then I knew I wasn't Kemper then. So after that Allenmore, Tony got in touch and said, "Look, I'm going to start bringing in Kemper snowboards, setting up the academy. Would you ride?" It's like, well, free gear. I hadn't heard of Kemper, didn't know who Kemper was.
But they did quite okay.
But they were that year. Yeah, they were going to go for it, weren't they? They did these mad asymmetrics.
Yeah.
I tried to get photos of it to show you, but
They were pretty extreme, weren't they?
they were really extreme. Yeah, whereas normal asymmetrics, I think about 15 degrees.
They were more offset.
They were like 30 degree
They were
offset.
more
They were
offset.
mental looking things. I mean, dangerous actually. The tail went to a point,
Real point, yeah.
a metal
Really?
point. Yeah. But anyway, they looked mad, and they rode quite fun, I suppose. And then I went back to Aviemore to do that.
That was the
champ.
British champs that's in the
Yeah,
chaos.
because Jill and I had just been in Serre Chevalier.
Just out, I'm talking about boards here. So,
Oh, aye.
what do you think the longest snowboard is that was ridden in general?
What in
Early days.
like production?
Yeah, early days.
Because Signal made a really long one, didn't they? For a laugh. Canoe race room, How long?
213, I think.
213.
What's the radius on that thing?
I don't know.
I told you, I've still got a few PJ7s
Yeah,
in
well,
the
they were
board bag at
180,
home.
weren't
They
they?
were
180.
big old monsters. They were sort of in the 70s and big old turning radius.
My mate was 180, wasn't it?
Yes, I think it was. That was when Tony was straight.
Yeah.
That's why he was straight lining it. Probably. Yeah.
Do you want to just carry on this chat and I'll
Yeah. Honestly.
talking about board shapes and lengths? And I'll come back in a minute.
Graphic on
But
that bottom right-hand corner.
Kempers, they were going for it that year, weren't they? I mean, Jamie Salter bought them.
Yeah, yeah.
And he was like, there's Burton and there's Sims, and we're going to be Kemper. So they were properly on it then.
Yeah, they had that Andy Hetzel Pro model, didn't they, with the skate graphics, the same year
Tom
as
Burt was on them,
the same year that Noah came out with his skate graphics.
Right.
But then they
So
seemed to disappear straight after that.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did that one season. And, well, not that, literally that one season, but that was the season. Yeah, so I was on that Kemper. And they had the gear, the clothing. It's a shame you can't really see it on that photo, but it was proper, fluorescent, mostly black with fluorescent pink and purple and yellow.
That's good. Black makes it really pop, doesn't it?
It was
It
still,
does. It does.
I'm
Contrast.
I'm fucking down with that.
Yeah, well.
And then it was Aviemore. Yeah, that Aviemore turned up to Aviemore.
So you eschewed the half pipe and the general direction of the way people were doing things, and you thought you'd go carving.
Yeah, I did enjoy carving actually, and powder, of course. But turning, I just really loved turning, and I was quite good at it, I suppose. So
did you look at the half pipe and
forces
just
it.
think, it's not for me? Or did you think, I should probably do some of that?
No, I never really thought I should do that. I didn't have that. If I had been a skater, I think it would have been automatic, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But it was fun to see the guys, but I'd just hurt myself probably.
Did you take part in, because there was a slalom, giant slalom as well, maybe?
Yeah, so there was a giant... So that first day, I do remember turning up Alnwick, I can't remember the weather. I think it's grey.
Pretty grim.
And Aviemore, I turned up, and I remember going in on the Friday to do a bit of getting there early, do a bit of training, and it was classic. It was classic, horizontal sleet and rain.
Right? Yeah.
And that restaurant at the bottom was, you walked in and there's like an inch of water and the windows are steaming. And we were going up.
Is that the ptarmigan?
Yes. And then coming down, you're dodging heather and over the fences, and it was just, oh God. But that was proper Scottish. And then the Saturday it turned to snow, but it was still pretty horrendous. And we ran the GS in that. Really grim weather, which actually I won that. That's the one I won. And
is that one of those trophies that you
British
I didn't get a trophy for it. I think I got a little
the silverware
plastic thing on a bit of wood. No, and then the next day, the wind went.
That was the
sun
Monday.
came out.
It was the Monday, that wasn't it?
No, because it was the half pipe day.
Oh, was that the
wasn't
then?
Because the half pipe day was a nice day.
Half pipe day was a nice day.
Can't
From
remember
what
the
I've
slalom.
seen on the video.
Yeah, and they took that as we were saying before, the no grab front cover shot for
The no grab front cover
Snowboard
shot.
UK. And I did that photo with Sang Tang riding powder on my Apex slalom board. A beautiful, the background of the locks and the green and the blue and then the white snow. And I thought Scotland was always like that.
Yeah.
Well, I've only been there once and had a powder day.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
So it is
It's
always like that, isn't it?
As far as you're concerned, it is. Yeah.
And that's when, and then, so carried on with the Scottish crew.
And you were there recently. Last season.
Yeah, beginning of last season.
Oh yeah,
Glorious it was.
Tell me about that.
Glorious. Well, it was
What led you to going up there?
because
even if you go to Edinburgh, the Highlands are a long way
it's
further
a
than
long
that.
trek. It is a long trek,
And that motorway's bullshit. It's got like a 60-mile-an-hour speed limit.
Well, it takes a while. It did take a while, but it was because one of the guys I was working with, he's a photographer, a really good photographer. He loves going to Scotland, and he said we were working together on the Thursday, and he said I'm up to Scotland this weekend because, and this was sort of December.
Yeah, it's quite early.
December 2023, I suppose.
24.
Not this season, just gone. It was season before.
Okay.
And he said it's going to be really good. It's going to be lovely weather. There's going to be fresh snow. It's going to be blue sky. I'm up there to do photographs. And I called Jill and said, Justin says that it's going to be really good weather in Scotland and there's fresh snow. And we had our split boards.
Yeah, no lists are open.
So we were thinking, sod it, sod it, we'll just go for it.
But you don't own a split board, do you?
No.
Helicopter maker.
Doesn't own a board. Do you own a board?
I've never owned any.
No.
Well, I have, but over a long time. Right? They've always just been inherited.
Yeah, well, of course.
Gifted.
Yeah. And so we just said, to hell with it, we'll go up. So Friday, we got in the car and we just drove up all day Friday, got Airbnb at Boat of Garton, isn't it?
It is.
And we got up there late, and we drove on Friday. Drove straight up to. Is that for Moran? Is it?
I fucking hope so. Thanks, man. It is. It is.
Moran
Got a parcel
delivery.
for Chris Moran. Fucking can you believe the timing of that? Amazing. It is, yeah. That's magic.
You're not had postage to France.
On a Saturday.
On a Saturday, I know.
Special delivery Saturday.
Special,
I'll
yeah, he's got
interrupt. I'll interrupt him.
Yeah, he's got some sort of spider sense. He must have it in on my calendar or something.
Yeah.
That's what-
Yeah. And yeah, it was a beautiful weekend. I mean, it had snowed about, I don't know, 10, 20 centimetres.
Nice.
No wind, blue sky day. So yeah, mostly when I go to Scotland, it's a blue sky, snowy day. And that was beautiful. The lifts weren't open, obviously. And it was just people hiking up. But
And you
quite a
saw
few.
Leslie McKinnon at the top.
And at the top, yeah. So we got up
course.
there.
Why wouldn't you?
I mean,
She thought up there, didn't she?
why wouldn't you see Leslie McKenna at the top? She just exists
Yeah,
in that
I
area.
know, yeah.
Well,
She's
I did-
omnipresent.
omnipresent. Yeah. So because we hiked up that was a Saturday. Hiked up to the top, up to the aerial, whatever.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, so wonder what the best way down is. You know, we could get back down the track. Not doing that. What's the point? And I saw this border just sort of sat over there near the cairn, I think it was. So I wandered over, and it was lovely. It was like, oh wow, because we hadn't really met. I knew of her obviously, and I've heard her on the pods and seen her ride, but I didn't really. Might have known of me, but I've not really met. And it was like, oh, well, great. And she said, well, go down here and all that. She was doing a bit of, she had the GoPro out.
Oh, yeah.
I did say to her, that's, her and you and are kind of like the Cairngorms tourist office, aren't they? They do some lovely sort of footage of
I don't know, do
days,
they? I don't.
on Insta, they do little Insta clips of,
I must not follow.
and it's all the same thing. Of course, you only do it when it's powder.
Must follow.
Tourist board.
I must. Yeah.
It's very photogenic up there, isn't it? It's really photographic when the
It
snow's
is, yeah, it's good.
decent. So yeah,
lulling
so-
people into false sense of security is what we're doing.
It was.
Yeah, painting a picture that might not necessarily
Yeah.
be true 100% of the time.
Yeah.
And I think that weekend
Shout out
was
to
it.
Scotland and all you Scottish riders.
That weekend was it, pretty much that season. Because Jonny, I've always been wanting to get up to the Up Battle.
Yeah,
Shame
Shame it was cancelled last year. I was gonna go on that.
Yeah. So yeah, it doesn't. It's a problem, isn't it? But that was a good weekend.
yeah.
Yeah. So that was a nice little split. Well, did
And-
trash the board a bit, but
Yeah, which
Yeah,
one?
you got
Oh, yeah, that's your your underneath.
Very nice.
Your split board
Yeah, split.
and skins.
Yeah. So you have been British champion
Once.
that once.
That one time, but you can dine out on that.
Put it on your
forever,
business
can't
card.
you? I don't actually. I think we put it in the brochure a few times.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
the following year,
British
was-
champion of overall? No.
No, good
Just
lord.
No, you're a better rounder. No.
It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what it's in,
Just-
And then, unfortunately, the following year was Andorra, and some other git turned up, and
Oh, yeah, I heard about
he
that.
kept
Weird-
winning
weird
everything
haircut,
forever
Weird
after
haircut. Weird haircut. Is this what it's
sort of
monk like?
gingery blonde bonce. And forget his name now. That's right.
Oh, that's come to me. Oh no.
Does a
Oh,
lot.
yeah.
Does a lot of stretching on Instagram.
Ah,
Oh yeah, Neil. That's the
he
one.
does.
Yeah,
He does. Yeah, we saw Neil a couple of weeks ago actually.
Did you ever have beef with Lloyd Rogers? Because he was a famous hard booting kind of guy who took it very seriously.
It's like very long, blonde flowing.
This is just a total punter. This isn't going
Why
anywhere.
would it-
Oh, I don't know if it's going anywhere, but I'm hoping.
No,
It's
I'm hoping it might.
What's that? What's that you had earlier on?
I didn't really have beef with Lloyd. It's just he wasn't. I didn't really hit it off with him really, but it turns out that there's only one person I can really stand losing to on a snowboard, and that happens to be Neil, which was fortunate because I always did lose to him.
So I'm going to take a punt and suggest that you've got a competitive spirit about you.
I did for that
Because riding hard boots and riding those like asymmetric, I mean, like that's an aggressive form
Yeah.
of snowboarding.
yeah,
Isn't it?
it is. It is.
Like you
Actually.
don't go out and just pootle around
No.
and do a few jigs
No,
and whatever. Like, you're out to kick some
some
ass.
ass.
Do you know
I
what
did
I mean?
like that aggression. I didn't really ever like GS, but I liked slalom.
All the
because
armour, all the plastic.
we were
armour.
talking about
Yeah, oh, you get the old face. Love that old shit. Yeah, the old leg protector,
Yeah.
bright colours.
You got-
We were talking.
Lots of sticker in his face.
Yeah,
It's
you
the
know
old,
it.
you know, the hinged leg guard.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone. Yeah.
Who doesn't want to be walking around with one of those on?
Oh,
I'd have loved that. I never got into that.
I
But
did
Yeah.
enjoy that. Yeah, the GS. You didn't wear that, so what's the point?
No,
I
we had a
did-
skin suit for that, didn't you?
I think. The
oh
thing
yeah,
about-
did you have a skin suit?
No.
No,
Lloyd had
Lloyd-
a skin suit.
Lloyd's had skin suits.
He's
No, I know.
hit.
I don't know whose it was, but Neil had a skin suit as well. When Neil had to
Yeah.
start wearing a skin suit, that was
Yeah, I mean, you know that things
That's
are
a
going bad
turning
then.
point.
yeah.
You know things are on a downward spiral there.
Yeah. So no, but Lloyd took it very seriously.
You did.
Yeah, but
Fair play to
he, you
him.
know, he was he got some nice boards from
Nidecker,
But yes, I just wanted to, if I could, I got used to getting second to Neil, but getting third, you know, oh dear, no, because I'd lost to Lloyd. So, but Lloyd and I, it was very much kind of some I won, some he won,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
some he beat me, and some.
Yeah.
I
Did
beat
you
him.
do any training? Like, did you start thinking, right, Lloyd's on the up, I need to
Gotta work
get
on
down
my-
the gym a bit?
I've
And
got to work on my legs this week.
I
Yeah.
think that was it. It's when,
I mean, you're in good shape now, right? Just throwing that out there.
well,
Oh,
it's-
all right.
Jill cooks very well.
All right, we're not talking about you
Jill
now,
cooks very
Johnny.
healthy food. Yes, I've never been one to put on weight, much as I might try. But yes. So the training thing, not at all actually until.
I mean, do you do on the mountain training, like, you know, training gates and stuff like? You
Well,
see
not until Neil and Beck started turning up. You know, coming to the chalet in Avoriaz.
right.
And then because we did Andorra, so I hadn't done any gates at all. And I know Lloyd was training then because he came with his Fandango Nidecker board and stuff.
You get your drill out, so you can drill
And
drill the piece.
which
Yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
no avail once Neil had turned up. But and then we got. That's where we got to know Neil and Becky when they just turned up. And then we said to them, at the end of the following season, we went to Avoriaz. We were sort of in touch with them. Maybe we'd seen them at the Andorra, and we said, look, just come along to the chalet. And we were in touch somehow anyway. So at the end of their season in Lavinia, they were working. They came to the chalet, just hung out then. And then they were going to do the World Cup the following season. They were going to take the plunge, weren't they, and actually go for it. And we said, well, look, whenever you're, between races and you need somewhere, just come and crash at the chalet.
So you'd started the chalet by this point.
Yeah, we had the chalet. The first year was Andorra in Serre Chevalier. Yeah, when we did the Andorra champs. And we were with Burton. by
So you
then.
started in Serre Chevalier.
Yeah, 91, 92.
Okay. And tell me,
Probably.
and yeah, I think we didn't answer this question, did we? But like, you know, like the thinking behind there's a gap here, or there's a need for this sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
How did you recognise that? Because I guess you were still sort of fairly young. And like, how do you think about who's going to want to stay here? Obviously, it's not going to be the people like your peers. Do you know what I mean?
No, I think, when we were all in boarding, we just knew it was going to be something, wasn't it? It was clearly going to be big.
Mm.
And that's because we were very enthusiastic about it. And we were also at the point, it's like, well, how do we, we want to keep doing seasons and do this. So how do you actually do that? We're not going to race. There was no sort of thing like that.
Yeah.
And I can't remember when it was that summer of 91 that we thought about the chalet.
Yeah.
And we just thought, somebody, it was clearly very different to skiing, and all the skiers you ever met didn't have a clue. They didn't understand.
But
They couldn't work out that you didn't want to do what they did.
Yeah.
We just wanted to do different stuff. And the fact they were so anti it all the time, really, and we loved it. If you're going to get it going and you want people to come and love it and do it in the right way, then you've got to kind of do it yourself, haven't you? It's like, with setting up competitions and setting up magazines.
Well, I mean, I think
there
the
were
whole
no
snowboarding thing was very much DIY, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like anything
Yeah,
that
totally.
anybody did was like, well,
Sure.
no one else is doing it for us, so
No.
we're going to have to do it
And the
ourselves.
ski companies weren't remotely interested. So we were like, this will be good. We'll be able to get people in and get them to love it.
Obviously, when Burton came on
And
offered
obviously,
you
we
the
needed.
test
Fucking
centre.
putting yourself in it again.
No, surely not.
Yeah. And
We'll get back
so
to you in a
yeah,
minute,
fine.
Johnny. Just
you can't stand it.
No, you can't,
Leading
can you?
in. Leading in.
how do I make this all about me again?
So, but we did. Yeah, we started on the Burton stuff. And having good kit
Right.
was essential, because even the rental shops, even then, were still a bit iffy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially with boots and bindings.
Did you have that from the off?
Yeah, we were talking about this earlier, weren't we? I'm trying to remember. In Sershare,
You must have a
I
little
think
bit.
we must have had a few, but it was a small range, wasn't it?
Yeah, but
actually.
and
So
the
mostly
following year we
airs.
definitely got bigger.
Yeah, the following year, then we moved to.
But I mean, do you
Of all
remember thinking, if we're going to do this, we need to have some kit to offer people?
Yeah,
Otherwise,
it's got to be the full thing. So it had to be snowboarders running it, us running it, and the kit, and the mountain program. Showing people around, because, like I say, boarders and skiers, boarders don't want to go near bumps, and they don't really particularly want steep runs either.
no, they do look at the mountain
So,
differently.
totally differently.
I think Les Arc for a while did a different piece map for snowboarders
Did they?
and rated things differently.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really
I could kind of
interesting.
see that. I mean, when I started skiing, one of my aims was literally to not have to worry about which run to go down. Any colour,
To be
any
the
condition
level.
would be fine. And I took that into snowboarding, and I wanted to be like that for snowboarding. And that translates in the mountain thing with the customers. You take them down the good runs because you want them to love it. And you want them to be on a good kit that you service.
Yeah.
And has sharp edges, not
And waxed.
waxed and everything. So yeah, it all goes together, doesn't it?
Were you did you try and sort of steer people towards the M's, like the hard boot setup, or?
No. Personally, I didn't.
You weren't trying to
But-
influence people on the riding direction.
No, because I appreciated that actually, clearly, soft boots are easier to ride, and most people wanted to ride soft boots. I think. I mean, I did on the mountain. I used to guide around all the time on a PJ,
In soft
didn't I?
boots?
No, in hard
No,
boots.
yeah, in hard boots, yeah. You did get into it, so I went soft boots.
But yes, I mean, I haven't been on hard boots for I don't know how long.
I mean, it took a
but-
while, but
But yeah, I'd
Finally
use
cracked
soft
it.
boots for powder days,
Yeah.
of course. I mean, but
Why was that? Just because of the feelings different, and if you're going to be on piece, then you're
'Cause-
going to want to carve.
the power you get through hard boots is extraordinary, even compared to stiff snowboard, soft
sure.
boots. And that was it then. A race board and hard boots is
played by
quite incredible.
Played by
Actually,
super
just what you can
responsive.
carve on, everything.
Because I mean, these days it's a minority
Oh God, I'd never
of
do it. I wouldn't.
so small.
Yeah,
I wouldn't do it now.
tiny.
Wouldn't do it now at all.
I mean, even with the carving, the carving
Yeah.
explosion that's happened, it's still it's not hard boots. Though, is it?
No, I wouldn't. I would always say soft boots. Soft boots, they're way better. The bindings are better, and you can carve really well on soft
Especially
boots.
if you're on the Ep3.
You can. I mean, you can carve really, really well. And hard boots. When I see hard booters now, unless they're really going for it, because that's the point. You can't sort of half-arse it on hard boots because it feels horrible
You need
and
the,
it looks a bit, frankly, a bit naff.
You need the power.
So yeah, so going back to that competitive thing, I just wanted to really carve as hard as I could and properly go for it, which is why I loved it. But,
Were you watching video sections by Peter Bauer and Gene Nerva and thinking, that's a bit of me, that is?
Yeah.
With the headband, ponytail,
yeah, I know,
poncho jacket,
No,
the full, what I'm talking
I've
about.
never really, I suppose, never particularly enjoyed, not that sort of. It's kind of showboaty, isn't it?
Right.
actually. That sort of arms in the air.
Peter's style, originally.
I mean, he's a brilliant style, and that
A lot of
John Merv
arms.
was great. But the arms, but that was,
a
to
lot
be
of
fair,
arms.
that was
That was the time.
the 90s. That was the early 90s.
Now you get a lot of arms going on as well.
He did, yeah.
I do
He
kind
used
of
to
like
tuck his knee quite in on
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I emulated him.
Johnny
massively.
rides like that. That's Johnny.
Do you?
I did.
Jonny Weeks, and John O. Gibbons. It's sort of, that was the emulation.
He was.
But he looked good doing it,
He
frankly,
did look
didn't
good. He
he?
was a good style.
But I never liked that. I've never really liked the showboaty thing. That's why I don't like laid out, although, well, that photo part, the laid out carve thing. I mean, you're not doing it to be efficient, are you?
Yeah.
And carving hard. You're doing it to just be a bit flash.
Yeah.
And I've never really liked that. I don't like that on the soft boot thing, doing the old and then Japanesey style. I don't really like it. It's a bit too flash.
What I don't like about it is they grab the hem of their
Oh,
sleeve of their coat. I've got a real problem with that.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, to stop this.
Just to stop it going up there. But I think
You got
that movement, that hold in itself
Yeah.
is really ugly.
It
Yeah,
is.
that's
And
it.
so I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
You're right.
Or if I did do it, you've got to lay your hand.
yeah.
You can't be bunt.
Can't
You know,
really do it.
I mean, it's
A sleeve full of snow is just the price you pay for
the price you pay.
doing it. But
Yeah.
I didn't. Yeah. So I don't really like that. It's it's sort of fruit booting.
I would
isn't
suggest
it?
a gauntlet.
that sort of
Fruit
I would suggest
booting.
the whole fruit booty.
They use
snow-
I think you're allowed to say that.
Yeah, I didn't like that. And maybe I actually looked like that myself, but it didn't feel like it, so that's fine.
I mean, there's your interview in Snowboard World,
Oh Lord.
issue whatever. That the main picture, like the black,
Tamworth Snowdome.
that was Tamworth Snowdome. I mean,
Yeah.
that is an aggressive looking
Well,
photo, isn't it? I mean, it's a great photo.
it's a bit bent over, isn't it? Because I'm trying to. But yes, I like that hard. Because there's no point riding those unless you're really going to go for it.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
actually, every other quality they have
That's
isn't
what
as
they-
good
that's
as
what they're built
the
for.
softboards. Yeah, and so I stayed in hard boots guiding for pretty much all the time until
Really?
'96 when we came back, and then funnily enough, I can remember going back a couple of years. Well, we went back every season, of course. So I was still running the chalet, going back to set it up.
Yeah,
going
how
back a few
many times did you get out? Obviously, pre-season or early
Pre-season
season.
for a couple of weeks, and then close up probably 5-6 weeks, I suppose.
Yeah.
So not bad. And I think I was still hard booting then, but without the strength in your legs, I just couldn't do it the way I wanted to do it.
Right.
You do a few runs and your legs are just like cramping. It's like God. Whereas when you're doing seasons, of course, you're just fit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I think at
season
that
fit
point,
is
late
amazing.
90s, I was just soft boots.
I think one
and
of
I've never been on hard boots again.
No.
Well, I lost them, so that was along with all my slalom kit,
I
all
think-
my
I
hard
think
bindings.
Jill,
boots.
actually, might-
Got lost
yeah.
somewhere in a move.
Got that bit of it
Jill
on
probably
boys.
was like,
Yeah.
get those down, things like that. Yeah, so wouldn't dream of it now.
So it was 96 you left.
When
End
we
of
when we
96.
started getting people to
Yeah.
run a chalet.
So I think I must have come out in about 95, 96 with Darren
Yeah.
Williamson and Becky and Neil were up there. But you couldn't come out riding with us. There was an amazing day where it just
Yeah,
snowed.
of course it was.
There's
Probably
nobody,
bloody transfer day.
there's nobody around on the mountain at all.
Bloody
And
did
I-
transfer
it was
day.
myself,
Yeah, but transfer
Darren,
day.
Neil
Saturday.
and Becky rode in the Boreas.
And came back
And
and
we
told
just
us.
had the best day because it was just like blue sky, powder, and nobody in the mountain. Perfect.
Yeah.
One
It
of
was
the
a
best days
transfer
ever.
day.
That's the dream.
Yeah. That would have been it.
So let's talk more about the chalet, because obviously this is the one thing we've got in common.
Yes.
Is that, I mean, you blazed a trail, and I don't think anyone else really went near it until kind of like us, Dragon Lodge, like a few people sort of popped up around the same time.
Yeah, so we started in 91 to 92, which was probably 2 or 3 years too
I mean, how
early.
did you know, like, where to get a chalet from, like who to speak to? Because it's,
Yeah.
like finding a place, especially
I know.
back
When
then,
we've never
when
been in that.
you'd have to go to the place and like hunt
Yeah.
around. So
We
weren't on the internet.
No, I mean, and you didn't.
Amazing
Not if
times.
you've been in chalets, you'd know about it. But we were in Seychelles that season because the season before we did the chalet, we were working out how to cover our costs, and we did photography. Jill and I did a photography course and started taking pictures of of the school groups, because we knew all the people from schools abroad still.
Yeah.
So we just said, look, can we come out and take pictures of school groups? Because all the school kids, well, usually the school kids would buy photos of them with their instructor. And in the end, we worked out, or Jill worked out, I think, that actually they don't want to buy a picture of their group and the instructor. They just want to buy a picture of their instructor. So we just started taking pictures of the handsome instructor, and then you sell it to them.
This is going down
that's
a
an
different
industry,
road.
yeah.
I wasn't expecting it here.
It's great. So, just head and shoulders.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
You
Unless
say.
you went any under the counter stuff, under counter stuff. Yeah.
So, so we thought, well, we'll do a chalet. So we'll talk to people and say share. And we knew the guys that ran King's Ski Club, which was there. And we said, do you know if anyone has a chalet? And they said, well, I'll tell you what, we can find a chalet, and how about you eat in the hotel? So you don't have to bother doing the catering. So we were like, yes, that's a good shout. As it turns out, it wasn't a chalet, it was an apartment. And we were like, this isn't a chalet. Because we haven't seen it, we just turned up to run the holiday. We produced a little A5 4-page thing. Hadn't seen the chalet. Come out on holiday with us.
Yeah.
And
Can go wrong.
yes. And it was kind of smaller than we thought. So that's how we sort of started. But we were catered at the King's Ski Club, which was for mostly sort of university students, which was quite a fun atmosphere. Terrible food, actually. And the first week we ran it was the Prince's Shop Week.
Right.
So that's when Jonny came out.
Well, I was about to
Nick
say, like, how did you go about getting your first guests?
What guests?
Paying guests.
Oh, we just put out. Well, we did an advert in Snowboard UK because that started that season, and I can remember I was working. Jill and I were living in London at the time, in Battersea, Clapham, and I was working down near Bromley, commuting down to Bromley, and I can remember, and Eddie was getting the magazine together, so we're getting an advert together, so I did a little sketch with a pen and a ruler and photocopied it at work and then posted it to Eddie and said, this is the sort of thing I want, this is the sort of thing I'd like you to do.
Fucking amazing.
And when it came out, it was that exact picture that I had drawn freehand. Come to Chalet Snowboard, and
that did the trick, didn't it?
And I didn't, because I didn't understand how magazines worked. I thought they would sort something out. But listening to Eddie on your podcast, he was like, they were just trying to do.
They were winging
it.
They were winging it as well.
They were winging it. They didn't know what they were doing.
So we had these awful, crappy adverts, and that was in Snowboard UK. And I think because of the Burton connection, I think I probably sent out brochures to the Burton dealers.
Yeah,
and that was it. But it turns out that doesn't get you a lot of customers, actually.
Right. Oh, I know, yeah.
So the money we'd had to set up this new company pretty much gone in that first season. But it was a great season. But the first week was full with Prince's Shop.
Yeah.
And it was the transfer day from hell. First transfer day ever in our little 1.6 petrol transit.
So you decided that you'd do the transfers as well.
And I was doing the transfers, and that time you were out, it dumped.
Yeah.
That week, it absolutely bloody dumped.
Yeah.
And when you're trying to get from Sèche-Vallée to Grenoble, which is where the flights are coming, you have to go to the Col de Lotteret, which is over 2,000 metres.
Yeah.
So, of course, that's shut. And so we had to go around via Gap, which is like a 6-hour journey, really just on a snowy day. In the transit, rear-wheel drive transit, which was fine because we had 8 of you and me driving and a ton of board bags in the back. I mean, the thing weighed, God knows, probably way over the limit anyway. But it properly stuck to the road.
Yeah.
And so getting there was brilliant. Well, not brilliant, it was a bit stressy.
Long.
Very, very long. And I got there. And of course, it was chucking it down with rain when we got there. And coming in, I had one guy to pick up for Christmas. We had one guest for Christmas.
One.
The poor guy.
Oh, mate.
He was a good egg, actually. He was a good egg. Just as bloody well, because the transfer back, wasn't via Gap. It was to go up the Maurienne Valley, through the tunnel to Montgenèvre, so the other way. And I had one person and me and a board bag
sketching around
in the snow and going up the auto route. They closed the auto route through the up there. And what they were doing, they were running convoys up and down. So they piled all the traffic up one way. And we're all, I was sort of sitting there again, I don't know what's going on. And it was dark by now because it was, I don't know how long I've been on the road. And then they got those massive snow clearers. They're like a train locomotive on wheels with a massive fold out that just seemed to keep going. Inspector Gadget sort of thing. Yeah. And they had a bunch of these, and they were going down one side, one carriageway, clearing the road, and then they turn around and take a convoy car through behind them. Right, And that's what we did all the way through. And then we still had to go over to Montgenèvre with all this bloody snow and get back through Briançon to the chalet. The first transfer day, it was 21 hours I'd been on the road.
Oh my God.
The chalet. And so quite an introduction. But we made it, incredibly.
It was Christmas Day.
With our one guest for Christmas.
It's funny, isn't it? Because I remember, luckily we started just when the internet was a thing. So we didn't do brochures. We were like, we're not doing brochures.
No.
We'll have a website. Luckily, like White Lines and Snowboard UK have sort of given us a few mentions and stuff.
Yeah.
But I remember me and Lucy sat there and somebody is like, yeah, your guests, they're in Borg. They've been seen at Tip Top, which was the local snowboard shop.
Yeah.
It was like, fucking hell, this is actually happening. Like these people,
some
random people have sent us some money.
Yeah.
Like everything we've asked
Trust.
for.
Yeah.
They've sent us some money and they are actually turning up. This isn't a joke. No one's taking the piss out of us.
Yeah.
Like,
and
this
you
is
had run
actually
a
a real
chalet before, I guess.
No, I'd worked in one washing up on my first season in Val d'Isère.
Yeah, but
But it was the season before I was living with Tim the Posh Rapper, Munson and Kenty.
Yeah.
And every night of the week there was more people there. And I was like, look, I'm not going to do any cleaning. I'll do all the cooking.
Yeah.
And we were just like, I'm just essentially running a chalet.
Yeah. Just from scratch,
Yeah, just cooking food and making sure, whoever was here, make sure everyone was well fed.
Yeah.
And then, I didn't have to then do anything else.
No.
And it worked brilliantly. And that was like, well, maybe there's something in this.
Yeah.
This is a lifestyle that, because, I'd sort of done a bit for Airwalk and got a bit actually maybe a job in the industry isn't for me.
You got stitched up, to be honest.
I did. I got thrown right under the bus. and
he sold those things at any shop.
But it turned out, actually the chalet thing was like, well, I quite like cooking. I like the people. I like creating a space for people. Like this is actually a lot more of what I want to do.
Yeah.
And it's just mad. And then, people actually come on holiday and come and stay with you. I find that quite a mad thing that you've created this place and people go,
basically people just sent a check. Like put a check in the post and we'll see you in France. Well, my dad was running the office. And he was an accountant by profession, so he was really great at all the sort of paperwork thing, and he was great on the phone. People loved him. And when we set it up, he must have been in, certainly late 60s, possibly getting 70s.
Really?
But he was brilliant on the phone. And so people would come out and say, how's Robin doing? And all that sort of stuff. I said, yeah, he's good. So he would do that side of it. But it was total trust. And then, when we were setting the chalet up, you could just, there were no French accountants. There was nothing like that. You were just running a business in France without them knowing about it.
It was like
and that sort of carried on.
Times.
That sort of carried on for years.
Us. Yeah.
And then eventually, as it was with you, you sort of develop it and then you go, okay, we better go, the mayor and get some accountants because we've got to start doing this properly and all that stuff. But then, it wasn't, we just, the second season we're in Avoriaz and we just paid, we found that chalet through a guy that we knew in Morzine,
That
who
was a
knew,
nice chalet.
who
That was
knew
a-
another guy who did find chalets.
That was a nice chalet.
Yeah, Tremble was a
Yeah.
nice. It was a good spot, and but again, you know, you just paid money to the guy that owned it, and it was all unofficial,
brown
really,
paper
wasn't
envelope
it?
to the mayor.
Unofficial. But by then, I suppose we were in the dealers, and we were, you know, sponsored. So
Yeah.
obviously, that's very responsible and everything.
So how many places did you end up with?
We got, I think, one season we had Avoriaz, Deux Alpes, Les Arcs, and
One in Les Arcs.
Tahoe. We got a chalet. Was it for a season or two in Paisley?
Oh yeah.
Because I had this view. I thought, well, once we've been doing it, to try and make a living out of it, you've got to make it bigger.
Yeah.
And I thought, perfect thing. If you had 6 resorts and you had a loyal client base,
Yeah, you're going to
They
then
will just keep
you
going
get
round
them in
and
6
round.
years
Yeah,
or
yeah,
forever.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
And-
Yeah, I agree with
and I
that.
thought that would be really, really good. And you're doing all these figures and stuff like this, that would be ace. And we sort of started on that path. But then, of course, you have to employ people to run chalets
Yeah.
Yeah.
on your behalf. And we always had great staff. I'll be honest, we always had really good staff. And when you think the responsibility you gave them, I mean, again, it's all people in their 20s, early 20s, mid 20s.
Yeah,
and saying, right,
totally.
so this is what you're going to do. The staff will arrive. I'll send you a list of
Yeah.
when they're arriving at Geneva, and you organise everything. Well, not quite everything. We do the flights,
Yeah.
and we would be working with them, but they still have their responsibility.
Mm.
Yeah.
But to start with, fortunately, we had Martin in Deux Alpes, so he was running it, and Martin's would be great. He was running the Deux Alpes one, and Jono was running Tahoe.
Yeah.
So we had people we trusted running the operations, kind of as their own.
Yeah.
to be
Yeah.
honest. Martin kind of ran it as his own thing, and Jono ran his as sort of his own thing, and we were doing the bookings. They were our customers and all, and the kit. But once we moved back to the UK, the Morzine was run by staff, and I mean, I don't know if you found this when you moved back. So you had guys running the chalet.
Yeah, we did quite a mixture of, like, we'd do it, or I was doing it, and we'd have someone to help, and then, then I'd be back in London for a season, and we'd have staff, and I'd run it from here, and then, and then there was like when we were sort of both out there for a few years, and then, we ended up, it was just like, this is how we're going to do it.
Yeah,
We're going to be running it remotely.
yeah.
And
how were transfer days when you're running it from here?
well, we didn't organise the transfers.
Oh, right, okay.
They just had to
Yeah,
get
yeah.
themselves to
Oh,
us.
so
and
they had
we'd
to get
take care of
themselves-
it.
because that
we
was-
gave people a
yeah.
discount if they came on a train,
Oh, very
because
eco. because it goes straight to Borg.
because it goes straight into Borg, and our house was literally across the road.
Yeah.
So we were like, look,
Oh, so
this
you
is
literally just get trained to
Beautiful.
That's great.
I mean, that's-
really.
yeah, it
All
was.
the way
There
to
was
Borg.
what a time actually. You mentioned Sasha Ham earlier.
Yeah.
Me and him got the train down, and you hear people, you're pulling into Borg, and we've got to go.
Yeah,
Right, let's go and get the bus
it
up
can
to
be a right
Val,
pain
and
from there, can't it?
yeah, that'll take an hour, and da da da.
yeah.
Get off the train, literally across the road, in and kettle on
Yeah.
within
That's a dream.
within 2 minutes.
Wow.
It was
That is
amazing.
a dream. And then you take the funicular.
Then the funicular up, yeah.
Yeah. Because transfer days. Because we ran the whole thing. So we'd organise the flights. So
That's a big deal.
We were
Especially
we would book each week. We'd book. Were we doing 20 flights, which you pay for, whether you fill them or not?
Yeah.
It got to that stage, and then because of where we were in Morzine, up at the bottom of the teleferique up to Avoriaz.
oh yeah,
It was out of Morzine town, but
Yeah.
socially it was Morzine. So we needed minibuses to
Yeah.
get people into town anyway for booze up, and
Yeah.
and then we would use them for transfers, so we could then make a bit of money on the transfers.
Yeah.
But it means you're responsible for that whole process.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
And when we were back here, my Saturdays were pretty stressful, not because they were stressful, just because of potentially.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
They
it's,
could be
you've
stressful.
got to be on call.
Yeah.
Because if you had a minibus of 8 clients and they missed their flight, I mean, God, you'd have got to
Lot
rebook
of cost.
But the potential for disaster, of course, bad weather, accidents,
Yeah,
breakdowns.
yeah.
But actually, it all fine. I think once from Des Alpes, 4 clients missed their flights, but that cost us £1,000, I think. Then that was a bit painful. And weirdly, when Martin was running it over there, he had one of our old van? Was it in the summer? It might have been in the summer. And on the way to because he ran, he was running the summer camps then. On the way to the airport, the thing started smoking, and he pulled over at the side of the road, and it burst into flames and exploded. Without the customs in, obviously. Yeah, literally, he said it was like a kaboom at the side of the motorway. But it wasn't in the winter. But, that's kind of the dramatic end.
But that's your van, and
I think, was it our van or had Martin taken it on by then? I don't know. That old one,
do you know what I mean? There's still
ended up in Des Alpes. I think it just got abandoned, rusting.
Yeah.
And we pretended,
I left a car
it wasn't ours
once.
Yeah, Des Alpes is a place you could do that, to be honest.
A Saab, in fact.
Yeah. Yeah. So, we started, so we had the people running the chalets until we went back again, eventually.
Was it, because, for us, it was, it was a lifestyle. When I was back here, it's always like, well, look, I'm going to go for however long pre or early season. Then I'll have to go out again kind of sometime in January just to make sure everybody knows what's going on.
Yeah.
And then if I don't go again, but we might go down there for a month.
Right.
Up to the end of the season. So even no matter what else I was doing, it was always like I had that getaway.
Yeah.
And that thing. And I attached a lot of my sort of self-worth to the fact that I had that thing. So it was quite cumbersome, emotionally and everything for me. Like, you'd get a bad review and it would fucking ruin me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And and especially then it's like, I knew we wouldn't get bad. I knew, when you're there, you can deal with anything. Like, clients turn up who, one of them's found you on the internet and like, oh, what a fucking great deal. The house looks nice and everything like that.
Yeah.
And understands we're not in a resort, we're in Bourg Saint-Maurice, we'll get the funicular up and all that. But then they arrive, especially towards the end when it was a bit like, you're dealing with Chalet Finder and these other websites, and you're trying to just want to fill your place. So you're dealing with people that aren't necessarily snowboarders.
Yeah.
And then they're turning up, and the person who's booked it understands, but they haven't communicated anything to the rest of their group.
Yeah.
And some other guy will turn up. It's always a guy turn up and then be like, well, this isn't on the mountain and there's no snow down here. And you're like, yeah, but and that's fine if you're there, because you can be like, listen, you've arrived quite late. We're going to sit down and have some food. Yeah. Tomorrow morning, you'll get kitted up or whatever. We'll, get down to the funicular, you'll go up the mountain. I promise you'll have a great day. And when you come down again, we'll have some beers. And we'll feed you full of food.
Yeah.
You'll have a decent sleep. This house is nice. No problem. But when you're not there, and you got sort of fairly young staff and someone's being quite aggressive and and then it just, and then I'd be like here going, well, what the fuck are my staff doing?
Yeah. And all along, it's just...
Is the client a dick? Well, to be honest, the only people that ever complained were skiers.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And you're like, fuck, now, I'm having just to fill the place. I'm sort of chasing people that I don't want, to come but at that, sort of by that point, like I'm starting to make music and I'm sort of, having kids and it's just like, this is a potential fucking headache that's going to ruin
the potential
days.
Yeah, imagine the potential going on.
I'm leaving it to some young people that I don't necessarily know very well. I've interviewed them and then they turn up in the resort.
Because that was it. I mean, I think we loved it really up until the last season. We suddenly thought, actually, we've done it now. We've done that.
Yeah, I had a bit like that as well. Yeah,
and it actually become snowboarding had actually become work
Yeah.
And at that point, it's like, oh no, because early on, we were running it. It was ace. Didn't make money, but it was a great season. You're boarding all season, and you guys would be coming out, and we had Chod working for us. I mean, that season it was Jill and me. Anna was doing the cooking. Chod was with me on the mountain. Yeah, and we had Neil and Becky just dropping in constantly.
Yeah. Dream team.
Cool. It was very cool.
Dream
So
team.
customers would turn up and
exactly.
sit down to dinner, and it's like, this is Chod, and they'd be like, oh yeah, and they knew who we were because we told them in the brochure, and then Neil and Bex would be hanging out, and they're like, this is Neil and Bex, and they'd be, yeah, Christ. Johnny. So it was great, it was a really good team. Jono would be there, Lisa would come in, all this sort of stuff. And maybe even like that photo from Christmas in whenever it was with Adrian and Stuart and Webster just coming. They were in the Boreas.
It was the pro hangout. It was the pro hangout.
We said, come down for Christmas dinner, so they came down as right.
Yeah, but we adopted that attitude as well. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you're in town, come round for dinner, and the guests are like, Steve Bailey.
Brilliant. Yeah, I mean,
you're like, come and sit down. And Steve's then chatting with everyone, and they go away thinking, fucking hell.
Yeah.
They actually do know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
I was actually only paid.
Right,
weren't just name dropping.
It was, So that was great in the early days, and then it becomes, it became a business, I suppose.
Yeah.
I still loved it, and going out there and having all the kids. I mean, I never lost that. Here are the new boards, and we're in the chalet just taking off the cellophane or whatever, and it's like, well, not so much boots and bindings, but the boards, because we would have the full range, well, until later on it became ridiculous, of course, but we'd have all the pro models plus whatever it was, customs and supermodels and twins, and that was just a joy and brilliant. Again, it's that whole thing about customers turning up. There's the board store, especially when we bought the chalet in Prodan. It was a big 20-person place, and the whole garage was the man cave, because it was the TV with the Xbox and the pool table with the obligatory. I think the light over the pool table was a couple of snowboards, which I think was probably a wooden sword terrier and brushy. I mean,
say that. That's a crime.
It's a crime, yeah. These old things, just chop them into.
Just chop them up. Make a bench out of them.
That's when you've got too many snowboards.
Post that on some Facebook groups, and you will literally get lynched.
Yes, and then the board store was there, and I'd gone to IKEA, and I went fully into town. When we bought that chalet, Jill and Ellie, who was one of the chalet staff that year, they went to kit it out at the beginning of the first season, and they went to IKEA, I think in Lyon, and they just, I saw a photo of them at the checkout, and they just a monumental amount of stuff. What a joy!
I've been there at IKEA Lyon with a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and so they were set up, and I went to IKEA and I just bought shelving. Yeah. How it all fits together. And I planned it also. There's a radiator there. That'll be the boot heater above that, and then the binding racks, and then the board racks will be all there. So it looked great. But you have the full range of pro models, which was, and they looked brilliant because the graphics were amazing, aren't they?
Yes, it was a bit of
and they could ride them, and
it was all part of the deal. It was all part of the price.
Part of the deal, which was a big deal because then they can try different boards.
Yeah.
And it was a big deal for me, actually, as I realised when I came to buying boards a few years ago. And actually, I don't know. I mean, before that, I'd never had a board that I hadn't ridden.
But I mean, it's the same thing. It's the same thing with the camp that we're running. We've got.
Yeah.
We're doing a bespoke test centre, so we find out what people want to ride, so we're going to tailor it.
That's right. I heard you say that.
And Burton, we're going to have someone from Burton on hand all week.
Yeah.
On the mountain. Talking to people about their setups, and I think there's a real value in that. Just because we've worked in the industry and got stuff for free and everything.
Yeah,
you forget that for your average snowboarder, these things are expensive. They're expensive. They're a purchase that you spend a lot of time thinking about and researching and everything like that. And if you can give someone that experience of try a few things, you're going to find the thing that you really love.
I know. It doesn't matter how good the shop staff are. Talking about stuff you don't know. I mean, it's like with the custom. I never liked the custom boards, but everyone it was the board to go to because it's kind of like, well, it does everything. I never really liked it, and I always liked anything Terrier did, but most people wouldn't like that, I guess. Or Johan, the old Johan.
Oh man,
remember that, the Johan 6.2?
Yeah, I nearly killed myself on Chatham Dry Slope with that.
Well, it's not the place for it, is it?
No, well, I found that out as I launched off their jump. It went way faster than whatever I was riding, and I hit the jump and just went fucking flying on it.
Yeah, but
not
with a 720.
Not with Johan style. That's for sure.
Yeah, so all these boards, and it was a massive thing. So you could come along, try a custom or try a supermodel, and then try the pro model, and then next season, the boards don't change much. Buy that. Brilliant. And I don't know how people do it now. They just have to. They take a punt, don't they? Until community building camp.
Yeah. But I also really liked at the start of the season is when the staff would turn up and we'd have like their outfits and stuff for them.
Yeah.
Like West Beach or Volcom.
Yeah,
and you'd be like, look, here's your kit, here's your season pass.
Oh,
like you're about to have like 5 months of fucking fun.
Yes.
Like what a feeling.
The beginning of each season, you must have, well, you had it all the time, but when you're running the chalet, I mean, those early days, you can't wait to get back to the Alps. It gets sort of November time, you get a cold, crisp day in the UK, and it's cold, and your nostrils, you breathe in your nostrils, and it just freezes a bit, and you're like, smells like the Alps.
It's coming.
And when you're getting free kit as a sponsored rider, it's just, that never became dull, did it?
No, it doesn't. When Burton
no matter how long you've been doing it.
Burton sent me a board last season, and I got it and put it in here, and I was getting out the wrapper. I was like a fucking child.
Oh, I'm like that now.
It was so exciting.
I can't wait to, I have this little routine. Jill and Hamish will probably laugh about it, but, we're going on holiday. Right, okay. So the board comes out, the wax, get the iron out. And that in the garage, waxing the boards, and doing the edges. I love it. The smell of wax.
Smell of wax.
Wax
it just gets you sort of, I just
you structuring your base or not? Are you structuring your base?
Yeah, I've got a spark plug.
Yeah.
That does the job. I mean, God knows.
And what degree?
Doesn't make any difference to me now.
Got your edge?
Yes. Well,
I don't, but I detune quite a lot.
My finger.
I detune quite a lot, actually.
Front and back. Yeah.
Well, that was it again. Having the kit. You get crap edges on a snowboard, and it's bloody awful. Whether you carve or not, it's bloody awful.
When you've got a chalet, you can legitimately not use a travel iron anymore and get an actual proper waxing iron.
I always had the travel iron.
No, not proper. I'm just talking about the thing that isn't a travel iron.
I'm talking about one. You put the pellets in and it squeezes the top and it comes out.
Oh, mate, I'm clearly not proper.
No,
way off pro.
Way off pro. Yeah.
Have the little pot with the roller? We had that in the ski tech days, and you just. When you've got 250 pairs of skis to service overnight.
That is cheating.
And you're just like, P-Tex, fill the gap, scrape it off, hope it stays in, put it over that roller thing.
Yeah, no absorption.
And it's like a load of wax on the top. And off they go. No edges. No edges.
You don't scrape it off.
Christ, no.
The smell take care of that.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the edges are rubbish. And the rental shops aren't that bad, but school hotels probably.
Yeah, I bet they were terrible.
But you do it yourself, But that was, anything to do with season. But that feeling of, and late season when you get the samples come through for next year.
Oh yeah.
And then you up the mountain. You'd have
next
year's graphics.
Next year's graphics is.
I know. Well, then it went to blank, and then it went to blanks. Then it was blank top sheets. Yeah. With some numbers written on them.
Yeah. Well,
you can't go to a British Champs on the current season's board. You're fucking like you're nobody on the M40 unless you're doing a ton. You can't go to a British Champs with this season's graphics.
Don't show your face here.
Mate.
I think because there's Chris and Steve would have been getting the graphic models, freestyle models next year, and I got the PJs.
Yeah, I mean the graphic thing was still what was going on, but at one point they stopped doing the graphics and they were putting out these.
All the test boards just had plain top sheets, didn't they?
Right. Yeah. But the new kit. But, eventually, like I said, that was always fun, but it became a bit worky, actually.
Yeah.
And you start thinking, don't you, career-wise, where either we stay out here now, because Hamish was born that last season, or before that, he was born the season before the last season, and you're thinking, yeah, do we stay or?
Did you travel around between like the when you were? I suppose at the end, when you had most of the more chalets, you were actually in. If you went out, did you go around with them all and visit them?
No, because Martin was running us out, and when he left, I think
you didn't feel like you needed to do the
didn't need to do an introduction.
The area manager drop in.
Not really. Paisley we did a bit, but we only had that for a season or two.
Okay,
gives it a bit out of the way. John was running Tahoe. I did go over to Tahoe, not during the season though, because in the end, you know, we were just going back to Morzine. And when you're running the chalet, you don't go anywhere, do you? So.
No, not really. When we had Borg, and then we had one in Morzine for 3 seasons. And it was like, that seemed like a great idea because loads of people were going to Morzine. And it was like, well, if everyone wants to go there, then we should get a place there. But then it's like, it's a solid drive from Borg because you've got Mont Blanc in the way. So
properly, yeah.
On the last season there, the snow season was really bad in Morzine. But we found because Paradis skis at a higher altitude, the snow was better. And we had loads of trouble just because, you know, sort of punters were turning up and it was green fields. And getting, you know, and being, you know, and like that just meant that the staff were like annoyed because the snow was shit. And then, you know, the chalet took a kicking because people were around more, not going up the hill as much. And in the end, you know, and then it's like, well, it takes us 3 hours to get round there.
Yeah.
So
a good day,
we ditched that and then we got one in Montchevan, which is part of Le Plan, which is like a 15-minute drive away. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, this makes sense. But they're far enough away that people staying with us here would go there as well. Do you know what I mean? To try and sort of loop them in for a couple of years. But
that's it. I mean, apart from Dragon Lodge.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there was quite a thing, wasn't there? There's quite a few chalet companies.
There was.
The late 90s and into the 2000s.
Yeah.
And now it's sort of faded away, isn't it? You know, and I get snowboarders just sort of go on ski holidays, I suppose. I mean, the ski industry is quite different, I guess. But
well, I mean, you're as likely now to be, if you go on a chalet holiday, your host to be a snowboarder as a skier. There's probably an equal chance. Do you know what I mean?
I guess there is with the hosts.
And I don't know. I mean, you know, the Dragon Lodge is cool. They got loads of scopes up, and it's definitely a vibe up there. But I just wonder whether that is still as an important. Well, it must be because I was, you know, like we were starting this camp.
Yeah.
You know, to actually go and be a snowboarder with other snowboarders, it must. I still feel it's a thing, but I wonder what the general public feels about that.
I mean, it was, you know, some of those newspaper clippings from 93, 4, whatever, and you know, where the skiers all panicking about the invasion of their slopes.
Yeah,
their slopes, and they were, one of the predictions was by the end of the 90s it'd be 1 in 3, and by 2012 they were predicting it would be more boarders than skiers,
which isn't the case because they didn't know that skiing was going to be.
Yeah. Well, skiing changed entirely.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so
they didn't predict that skiing would take all the good bits of snowboarding.
I mean, snowboarding saved skiing, didn't it?
Yeah,
for sure. You know, there's no question.
I would argue that with the most ardent skier that they have a better time now because of snowboarding.
Yeah, I mean, they did used to hate us though, didn't they? Because we used to, you know, almost everything we could do was better than they could do.
Yeah,
actually, apart from
driven by the media.
You know, they hated you carving because you left these lines in the snow. They hated you getting the powder because you actually took the whole slope.
Yeah, you didn't do a little zigzag.
Do you know any
down.
clothes?
Did you ever get the joy of that? I mean, maybe it's just a small. Maybe it's me. You know, the skiers would like to get down in their lines, and then you know they'd be there at the top, and you as a little group of boarders would turn up, and there's that untracked bit of snow, and you'd be like, totally like take it and take the whole slope because you're just doing these big old cars.
Yeah.
So we took that from them as well.
Yeah.
And we actually turned on the piste, which only the very good ones did. I still love watching skiing if you got a good GS turns, a really good skier doing big sort of turns through everything.
I mean, I appreciate good skiing. I appreciate good skiers. I can appreciate good skiers.
Yeah, totally.
But the aesthetic of it has no interest for me at all. I just don't want it. don't need to look at it because I don't think it looks good. Any of it really.
I mean, skiing bumps used to be a really good fun, and it was better. So skiing bumps was better. It was, snowboarding in Rebels wasn't that great and didn't look that good either. Whereas skiing in bumps was definitely better than snowboarding in bumps. But now there isn't as many moguls.
No, who wants moguls?
No, well, skiers did. But they don't.
But they don't
produce
anymore.
them anymore. No. They don't. The skis don't make moguls like they used to. Short skis don't make the moguls the same way. Apparently. Apparently. Well, otherwise, why don't they?
They're supposed to be. They flatten them, I suppose, are they?
Well, I think they must piece them more. But
you think?
I've definitely seen moguls.
Yeah, I'm just saying they're not around as much.
Yeah.
That's what I heard.
I got yeah.
I think as generally, nobody likes them. Apart from a very small minority of skiers.
Yeah.
So probably as a resort, you want to get rid of them as much as possible to make your pistes really nice.
Yes. That's why we get to Finland, actually. That's bloody ace.
Do you?
Actually, yeah. Well, not all the time, but we have been a couple of times.
Isn't that just quite low?
Yeah, it's weirdly totally different to Europe, which is quite fun. But the snow, you go in the winter, snow is amazing.
Yeah.
Actually, and that doesn't bump up. That's the thing; it stays perfect.
Is there not as much top to bottom?
No, it's quite short. I mean, it's only up 500 meters of vertical.
Some of the States has got very little vertical drop, really.
But there's no one there, so you do loads of loops.
But it's the snow's super cold. It's cold and it's super cold. So,
really, really cold.
And it's dry, so you're getting really good light snow, not any moisture in it, really.
No, it's beautiful.
So it seems like from being on, Morzine's a hub for sure, isn't it? And the resorts that you have places in, they're all well known.
Yeah.
You're saying about going to Scotland and going to Finland. Do you seek out adventure now to get away from those places?
Yeah. Big resorts, we just not interested in big resorts, actually. We went back to Morzine for a long time after we left because Hamish was learning to ski. Because when we left resort, we said to ourselves, right, we are going to go back to the snow every year with Hamish. Because we've sort of, we've moved him away from the Alps, so we're going to take him back. And we
ruined his childhood, obviously.
That's
obviously,
right.
Never give you.
Unfortunately, because I kind of was a bit sort of
tired. That's why he's into surfing now.
Well, that's right.
Yeah, he's giving you a proper finger.
Yeah, so do you. And we went back year after year, which was great for the kids because they get to know it. Well, Hamish and our friends' children, they get to know it and they feel really comfortable and they really progress well. I'm sure it's like your kids are going to have at Chris's place, probably. But but they get to know it and they're really comfortable. They progress really quick. But once Hamish was beyond that, we were like, and Morzine's busy and all that sort of stuff. We just go try and seek out smaller places which we have brilliant fun at.
So I think tell me what's a place that stands out apart from Finland that you mentioned?
Well, we do love probably the last place we go to, but we love Scandinavia because it is quiet. Actually,
expensive.
Beer is expensive, but apart from that, we found not especially.
No?
Lift Pass is sort of the same, maybe smaller areas, but the beer, yes, can be awful depending on how you go. As a family, maybe it doesn't matter so much actually, but I'm not really looking for steep slopes particularly. Bluey reds, is just great because you can just take lovely lines and keep them going, can't you? And off piste or on piste, and the snow and the crowds, actually, or lack of crowds.
Yeah.
So we do love that, and you can. The terrain is great. I mean, it is all about the terrain, not the pistes. It's just the terrain I find good.
Yeah.
We don't want hardcore stuff, to be honest.
Do you find that your glass for snowboarding is easily filled?
It is quite.
I could do one day. I mean, it's nice to get to do a lot, but one good day would be fine. Like the Elbow song.
Yes,
Right,
and
okay.
it's, well, you could go. If you got two,
Better have one good day than a dozen shit.
Exactly.
but one good. I mean, two good powder. If you did two good powder runs in a day, like sometimes on our days off, we a lovely day, go up 2 runs, beautiful powder, come back down, brilliant, fantastic day. And I still will seek out that that tracked out slope. But going up the chairlift, I'm always sort of going up the chairlift, scanning the slope,
the mountain.
looking at the terrain, going, where can I put a nice line together? It's very dull to get the chairlift for me. And but you'll spot a little patch, and I'll get to that. I'm going to get down, do a turn there.
What
And
about
they go
last
back
night, eh? What a night.
Shut up! I'm studying. Yeah, a good turn or a few good turns, and it does feel great. What is it about that makes you feel one? You can do one thing, and you go, "Cool, that was ace." That I could go home and sit down, and enjoy that. Yeah, and it has that.
Do you feel like you've had your best powder day?
Surely not.
Yeah, I'm still searching for mine, I think.
But I love I love a non-powdered day. Also, even crappy powder, I quite like that as well. Actually, as long as it's not crusty, but
Board test in the spring, like slush.
Yeah,
It's
it's amazing.
but like slush that hasn't been ridden.
Yeah.
So it's like poor man's powder. It's perfect. I love it.
Poor man powder, yeah, poor man's powder.
I'll take that.
It is.
In fact, I'll take that. I'll take doing laps of that
I
all
know.
day long.
Hero snow as well. There's hero snow.
Hero snow.
Yeah.
Go on.
Well, that's it's forgiving. So forgiving. So
Oh,
it's
yeah,
like there's never any ice. It's just got enough give that it's.
Yeah.
So it's like my class hero snow is like if it's one pieced, it's soft and you just go behind following a piece basher. It's like it's soft enough that you can it just.
Yeah.
it's
Johnny,
hero snow.
if you're a good boarder, every run is like that.
Is that right? Yeah. Well, you say I was never a good boarder. So you guys. I was just the industry guy.
It is, but it is so any terrain, isn't it?
I've seen you on a mountain, but I don't know that I've ever seen you strapped into a snowboard.
Oh, I was probably out to the bar.
with the company card.
Okay, yeah. That was what?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, board test, tequila 500. Oof. That was bad, night.
Mate.
Back in the day, yeah.
I think you're not to hijack yours, but your way of getting team riders on the team was to basically sit them down with a load of booze and be like,
Yeah, this is what you get.
if you can still ride tomorrow, then you're on the team.
You actually
Pretty
did
much,
get an
yeah.
interview. There was a vetting process.
There was a vetting process,
Ah, okay.
stringent vetting process. Seems pan up.
I've heard at least 2 people tell me that was
That was it.
that
yeah.
was how they
You're
got on. Yeah.
in, yeah. You seem okay.
Do you fancy riding Burton next year? That's right.
Okay, so I think the arc is complete. So tell me what snowboarding means or has meant to your life and why somebody else should do it.
It is absolutely the thing I do love most of everything.
Even still.
Yeah, even now. And the actual feeling of it seems a bit of a cliche, doesn't it? But the feeling of it is so lovely. And I don't think you don't have to be very good to actually get that feeling.
Right.
You know, I think within 3 days, if you get a bit of powder, you get the feel and it is lovely. And I think there's something, I don't know what it is, I've tried to think about it for years, but I think there's something in the human spirit or whatever that finds that sort of turn on a board, whatever the board is, just magical, actually. And so it feels great. And it is in an amazing place, you know, being up the mountain, standing at the top of the slope and looking down and thinking, right, I'm going to go there and then I'm going to do a bit of that. And then there's a bank there.
Second right.
Stitching together, you know, that run and then doing it and getting to the bottom and just thinking, yeah, that was just bloody ace. That was. And you feel that quite a lot, actually. So I do love that. And I enjoyed doing it. I feel I can do it quite well. And now as well, because we've taken Hamish to the snow, and obviously I met Jill out there, and Jill has always snowboarded. As a family, you know, the three of us can just fly down the slopes. And there is something about it that, and it is laugh out loud joy, really, isn't going down at speed, and there's Jill and Hamish there riding really beautifully, and me behind. And there's a bit of pride as well that you know, Hamish is our boy. But it is such a lovely thing to do now as a family. It is our sport, really, as a family. And so it's progressed into all that. And actually, I don't think that will ever go. It's always going to be there. I can't imagine not actually being able to snowboard.
So there you go. Ian Trotter, what a legend, a man way ahead of his time in terms of setting up the chalet and giving snowboarders a real alternative to what was at the time a very stagnant and stale, and I mean, this is obviously my opinion, but like the chalet industry just hasn't moved on, and it's kind of achingly, dare I say it, middle class, and that can be a lovely thing. And there are a lot of nice chalets and a lot of good people working in them and running them. But the sort of format hasn't changed that much. And I think Chalet Snowboard came along and opened the door for people like us and the Dragon Lodge and all the other cool places that were sort of trying to offer that service, but trying to do it in a different way that wasn't so sort of stale and dusty. So yeah, I owe Ian a lot. He doesn't know that, and I haven't thanked him properly. But yeah, I owe Ian a lot for kicking open a door that wasn't necessarily open before, and for certainly helping me carve a life out in the Alps, and all the joy that brung. As a little side note, in our kitchen at the moment, we have the kitchen table that was used in the Chill Chalet when we closed it and we sold the house over there, and we only bought a few things back, and we've got the kitchen table that we worked out had about 20,000 meals served at it, and it was really important to me. It was like the first proper bit of furniture that we ever bought for the chalet, and we sort of, you know, put some money into it. And it has somehow stayed in pretty good nick. And now it's the table, after all those laughs and all those little green beers and the food and just the good times around it, is now the table that me, the missus and the kids sit at to eat dinner. And we try and get friends around it as often as possible, because I feel that it's somehow imbibed with all that energy. And it's quite a special thing. So kind of Ian opened the door to that world and made it possible for people like me to think about starting a business that probably wouldn't have seemed accessible before. So thank you, Ian. I very much appreciate you. And it was quite mad because that was the first time I think that we'd met in person, and it felt very, very easy. Ian is a lovely guy, and I hope to get to hang out with him some more soon. All right, what else is going on? Last week went up to the premiere of the new Burton movie that they've been working on for 2 years, called Paved. It is obviously insane. It's wall-to-wall powder. If you're into rails and street riding, this isn't the movie for you. Although there are some street riders kind of taking their skills to big mountains. But it's a big mountain. I don't know. It's just kind of the peak of snowboarding, if that is your peak, you know, and it is massively impressive. I would say, is there anything new in there? I don't know if there's anything new. People like Zeb Powell, and there was certainly people like him are bringing a whole new energy into snowboarding, which is really exciting. And the crowd up at the Roebuck in Borough was certainly a diverse crowd, and it was great to see. Snowboarding is no longer the domain of greying middle-aged men. It is, the kids are taking over, and the kids from all different backgrounds are taking over, and it's brilliant. It really brings a different energy, and I, for one, love to see that. So that was cool. Yeah, so it's worth a watch, the movie. Again, it might get you stoked out for riding. It might seem like the impossible dream, riding steeps in Alaska. Do you know what I mean? Like, we've seen a lot of steeps riding in Alaska, and I don't know how much. It's obviously great for them to do, but is it that inspiring? I'd be interested to know. I'd be interested to know if you have got an opinion on that, then give me a shout either on the DMs on the Instagram or thankyouSnowboarding@gmail.com. I'd be interested to know how new sort of snow shred flicks are sitting. And if you've seen any that, I know they're all kind of dropping at the moment, it'd be interesting to know which ones are doing it for you, or whether just watching snowboard movies isn't a thing for you anymore. Or whether you go back to the old ones. And just mentioning that, there's loads of stuff up on our YouTube channel, including the music for this week's episode, which, like Jonny Weeks is on the first episode, is by the Soup Dragons. This track is called Mother Universe, and it was used in the Burton movie Scream of Consciousness, which is up on our YouTube channel now. So yeah, do you watch new snowboard movies, or do you just go back to your old favorites? That's the question. That's the question that I want to know the answers to this week. So yeah, if you've got any thoughts on that, then I'd love to hear them. So yeah, get in touch. So what else is going on? Yeah, the new Reason magazine has dropped. It's a beautiful thing, a real heavy slab of magazine. Print is not dead. It might be slightly less prolific than it used to be, but holding a physical magazine while you're sat on a toilet or on a train or whatever is still a great way to pass the time. And the Reason magazine is beautiful. It's got quality images, interesting articles. There's an article by Lizzie Jones, who is an upcoming guest on the podcast, and she was actually at the Burton premiere down from Manchester last week. And she's written an article about female dome riders, which is fascinating. Again, whole new scenes popping up, and we go into that with her when her episode drops in the next couple of weeks, I think. So yeah, the new Reason magazine, go and search that out. That's got all good stuff in it. It's, as I said at the top of the show, it's got a thing about the Yes team, and that features Mia Langridge, who was last week's guest. So you might find that especially interesting. The Thank You Snowboarding community building camp is still happening in March 26 in Le Coche, which is part of Le Plan, which is part of Paradiski, which, if you can see the photos on Instagram, has already got a base of snow. The Northern Lights were over Le Plan last night and over the Alps, and so there's some insane shots from Le Plan. I was chatting to Nigel Brooks, who's Vicky, not Vicky's husband, obviously, and Mia Brooks's dad. And he was just saying that Le Plan is such an underrated or undiscovered place for snowboarding because it is so good. It's one of his favourite spots. So yeah, there's a quality recommendation from Nige there. And we are so looking forward to it. Spots are slowly getting booked up. So if you are on the fence and you're not quite sure whether it's for you or not, it's not a beginner's trip. So if you've never snowboarded before, it's not for you, because I think we're going to be trying to sort of ride together and sort of cruise around. It's not, you don't have to be the best snowboarder, but I'd say an enthusiasm is the most important thing. If you're enthusiastic, then you will get the most out of it. We're going to just cruise around, try and find all the different spots in Le Plan. We're going to try and grab our boards. We're going to try and do some 180s and 360s. We are going to go to all the corners. The Paradiski area is amazing, from Champagny over the back, which is actually near Chris Moran's house. We could actually go to Chris Moran's house for lunch, maybe. But he's going to join us, I think. Champagny down to, is it Montalbert, and then sort of back the other way over to Villarogère and down to Les Arcs 1600. And, you know, there's just so much to go at, up the Aiguille Rouge, up the Bellecote, man. Just the area is so massive. I'm just so looking forward to cruising and seeing new horizons and being stoked on some of the views that I've experienced enough through my days of snowboarding and having the chalet in Les Arcs, and being able to introduce people to it and sharing that enthusiasm and just that love of snowboarding. So if you fancy it, there will be a link in the show notes below, or you can hit me up. thankyouSnowboarding@gmail.com. The full package deal details are on the little website that we've got. And there's a book there button if you want to get in touch straight away, so you don't have to remember the email address. 2 clicks and you could be winging your way to Les Coches in the spring. And if you're thinking that March is the season's over, from my many seasons, I can promise you that March is possibly the best month. You normally get epic snowfalls, slightly longer days, sunshine. Generally, March is the one before it turns to slush. So I'll be fingers crossing and dancing in my garden for the snow gods to deliver for us. And it's going to be epic. So yeah, spots are drifting away slowly. And there's only 16 available to start with. So if you are thinking about it, then do register your interest and we can take it further there. What else is going on? Well, it's just I'm just about to book a trip out to Teen in a couple of weeks for their opening, and a few days on the Teen opening week, and then a couple of days in the Three Valleys opening week to bag some interviews and to go and ride with the Dragon Lodge crew and some of the Three Valley crew like Chris Moran and whoever else is around, whoever goes on that trip. So I'm really looking forward to getting some mountain air. Life has been a bit full on the last few months, and can't wait to stand at the top of the mountain and just take a breath. As Ian was saying in his episode, just going to the top of a mountain and taking a breath. What a thing. So yeah, hope you're all doing well. I know I'm rambling a bit, and we've just gone over the 2-hour mark. I hope you've enjoyed these 2 interviews with Ian Trotter, with Jonny Weeks in the background, and then Jonny with Ian Trotter in the background. They were really fun to do and really confirmed that there are so many good people in snowboarding. And even if meeting Ian really is you might not know them or know them from afar or whatever, but that common bond of snowboarding really is something special. And Ian already felt like an old friend, even after spending like a few hours here on a Saturday afternoon. And that is what snowboarding is all about. It's connection and good people and mountains and fresh air and blue skies and all the good stuff. So yeah. All right. I'll leave you to it. I'll be back this time next week, 10 a.m. Thursdays. Thank you, snowboarding. Peace.